She left, or maybe she never arrived. You're still standing, but you feel it, the emptiness. Every quiet morning, every empty text thread, every dinner cooked for one. They say you're missing something. They say you should settle, submit, chase, perform. But what if everything they taught you about needing someone was wrong? They tell you that a man without a woman is broken, a failure, that he's incomplete, that he's empty. So you chase. You chase approval. You chase validation. You chase being chosen. All while you're told to suppress yourself, dull your strength, smile more, be softer. You've been told that unless she wants you, you don't matter. But what if the opposite is true? What if the man who stands alone is the one who's truly free? What if the silence isn't a void, but your foundation? What if solitude is not punishment, but power? This message is for every man who has ever been alone and doubted his worth. For every man who was told his value depends on who sleeps next to him. You are not less because you walk alone. You are not broken because you're not loved by her. You are not missing anything. The truth is, this world fears the one who doesn't need anyone to complete him. If you're walking through this quiet season, comment below, "I walk strong." Let them know. And if this resonates with you, support this channel. By supporting this, you're helping ensure this message reaches men who need it most. 1. He walks a different path. There's a path few ever see, let alone walk. It begins where distractions end. It starts where silence is loud and every insecurity echoes without mercy. This is not the path of weakness, but of confrontation with self. Not everyone is meant to walk it, because it demands brutal honesty. You no longer blame, beg, or point fingers at who left. Instead, you ask, who stayed? And when the answer is you, and only you either break or become something the world can't shake. Most chase relationships to avoid confronting themselves. They seek comfort in someone else's presence before building it within. But the one who walks alone isn't avoiding love. He's preparing himself for the right one. The problem isn't that relationships exist. It's that too many people enter them before becoming whole. A half-built person entering a relationship doesn't create a partnership. They create dependency. They don't bring stability. They bring storms. People confuse being in a relationship with being whole. But if you cannot sit alone without needing someone else's affection to feel complete, you're not ready. The person who walks alone learns to sit with his anger, master his fears, and destroy the illusion that being chosen gives you worth. The man who understands his path knows that his pain is not a problem, but a pathway. He becomes the one ready for a real connection. The one who no longer uses people to heal, but as mirrors to grow. Walking alone doesn't mean forever. It means walking far enough to stop being a prisoner of your past. So when the right person comes, you don't give them a broken map and expect them to lead you. Here's the truth no one tells you. Being in a powerful relationship with the right person when you're whole is not just good, it's better. It multiplies. But only if you bring something whole to multiply. Otherwise, all it does is expose what you've refused to face alone. You don't fix your life by adding someone else to it. You fix your life first, so when someone arrives, they find a kingdom, not a construction site. Too many build their identity around being desired, then fall apart when that desire fades. But the man who walks a different path knows he is the source of his own value, not the recipient of someone's affection. That's why when he loves, it's not from emptiness, it's from overflow. That's why when he gives, it's not to get something back, it's because he has something to give. When he chooses, he doesn't settle. He recognizes peace, not potential. He doesn't get lost in the illusion of chemistry. He hunts for alignment, a connection that doesn't threaten his solitude, but honors it. A woman who respects the man who had the courage to walk alone when it was easier to be distracted. The one who walked through fire alone isn't desperate for warmth. He's seeking the fire that burns with him, not burns him. 2. He guards his peace. Peace is not just quiet. It's power. It's clarity. It's a fortress built from choices made in the dark, when no one applauded, when temptation knocked, when chaos whispered comfort. Those who've never had to fight for peace will never understand why you guard it like your life depends on it. Because it does. The world will not give you peace. It will sell you pleasure and call it purpose. It will dress up noise as love and dysfunction as connection. It will give you validation wrapped in dependence and tell you that's intimacy. But when you've seen the chaos of your inner world, you guard your peace fiercely because you know what it took to find it, and you'll never give it up for anything less than what truly aligns with you. You almost collapse when you've rebuilt your mind, brick by brutal brick. You stop letting anyone walk in with muddy intentions. They call you guarded, distant, closed off. But that's not the truth. The truth is, you're not closed. You're focused. You're not distant. You're deliberate. You're not guarded. You're just unwilling to let chaos rent space in your soul anymore. Let's be clear. A relationship with the right partner is one of the most beautiful sanctuaries peace can build. When two whole people come together, when peace meets peace, the power is unmatched. There's nothing stronger than love that isn't needy. Nothing more dangerous to a broken system than two people who choose each other from strength, not survival. But that only happens when you guard your peace first, when you stop compromising your values for the rush of being wanted, when you stop confusing urgency with importance, when you stop inviting people into your life just because you're afraid of the silence they fill. You stop dating to distract yourself. You stop settling just to avoid explaining why you're single. You choose relationships that feel like peace, not war. That kind of peace, deep, unshakable, built in solitude, isn't something you trade for a pretty face or the illusion of connection. You wait. You watch. You choose slowly. Because peace isn't passive. It's active. Protecting your peace doesn't mean you fear love. It means you finally realize that real love should never cost you your sanity. You don't hand out your energy like it's candy. You offer it like it's gold, because it is. You stop feeling guilty for choosing people who match your values, not just your vibes. You stop entertaining chaos just because it came wrapped in chemistry. You love better, deeper, stronger, not because you're desperate, but because you're developed. Peace has taught you that not every connection is sacred. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. And the right person will never demand you abandon the clarity solitude gave you. She will respect it. She will see your silence not as weakness, but as wisdom. She won't fear your boundaries. She'll admire them. Because women crave strength, real strength. The kind that doesn't beg or boast. The kind that stands still. Stoicism doesn't mean being emotionless. It means being emotionally equipped. You don't numb, you master. And when you love, it's not a reaction. It's a revelation. And when peace meets peace, that's not just a relationship. That's legacy. 3. He uses pain as fuel. Most people run from pain. They numb it with people, with distractions, with temporary pleasures. They disguise it with fake confidence and fleeting comforts. But the one who's evolving doesn't run from pain. He studies it. He lets it crack him open. He lets it destroy the illusions. He doesn't label pain as the enemy. He uses it as his laboratory. And this is what separates those who grow from those who repeat. The person you see building in silence today, they've bled in silence before. They've known rejection so deep it made them forget how to breathe. They've had someone say, "I love you," then vanish the next day. They've been told they weren't enough, even when they gave everything. But instead of collapsing, they rebuilt. Not immediately, not perfectly, but deliberately. Pain became the mirror they finally looked into, not to see what they lacked, but to see what was never theirs to begin with. They stopped asking why she left and started asking who they were without her. Pain became the answer, not the question. And once you flip the relationship with pain, once you redefine it, nothing can destroy you again. Betrayal? That's information. Loneliness? That's focus. Rejection? That's redirection. Everything begins to serve you, not because the pain gets smaller, but because you get stronger. Growth doesn't make you immune to heartbreak. It makes you efficient with it. You process faster, you bleed less, you move smarter. Pain doesn't break you, it shapes you. Look back. Every time your heart broke, your perspective widened. Every time someone left, you found a part of yourself they were distracting you from. Pain cleared the fog. It made you choose. Will you stay bitter? Or will you build something so grounded, so solid, so unshakable, that the next time pain knocks, you don't flinch? Instead, you open the door and thank it for the lesson. Because the warrior doesn't just fight battles, he prepares for them before they come. He trains with weights others drop. He lifts rejection like reps at the gym. He transforms heartbreak into hunger. He turns abandonment into alignment. Pain made you who you are. It didn't destroy you. It destroyed the weaker version of you, the version that sought comfort over clarity, the version that believed love should always feel easy, the version that trusted lips over patterns. Pain taught you to listen, to slow down, to stop ignoring the red flags just because you like the color. Pain taught you to see yourself, not through someone else's eyes, but through your soul. And from that moment forward, you were never the same. Because once pain stops being something you fear, nothing can touch you again. He becomes something you command. And that kind of person, the one who stopped trying to escape discomfort and started using it as data, that person is indestructible. That person doesn't fold when life shakes. That person builds kingdoms out of chaos. And that person is you. Number 4, he builds in silence. Do you want to know the real flex? It's not loud success. It's quiet mastery. The stuff no one sees. The hours spent becoming someone no one recognizes until the results show up like a freight train. While others post, you produce. While others party, you prepare. While others beg for attention, you build reputation. And not for them, for you. You're not chasing applause anymore. You're chasing clarity. Because when you've been distracted before, when you've sold your soul for applause, you know how empty it feels. That's why you're in the shadows now. That's why your mornings are early, your nights are quiet, and your schedule isn't for sale. The person who builds in silence doesn't do it to avoid being seen. They do it so when they are seen, it's undeniable. You build your mind, reading when others are swiping. You study when others are scrolling. You ask hard questions while others entertain easy lies. You build your body, not for vanity, but because discipline demands sweat. You build your spirit, not with hashtags, but with habits. Prayer, stillness, cold showers, solitude. You stop proving and you start planting. Planting seeds in the dark, knowing that not every season shows fruit, but every seed matters. That's the difference between a builder and a talker. Talkers want results. Builders respect the process. And here's the truth. People who haven't built anything for themselves will always misunderstand your silence. They'll call you boring, too serious, too rigid. But deep down, they're threatened because your silence holds power. Your presence reminds them of what they haven't faced. You're no longer looking to be impressive. You're focused on being impactful. You don't want likes. You want legacy. You're not addicted to potential. You're obsessed with alignment. The builder's life is not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's filled with repetition, boredom, sacrifice. But that's where excellence lives. You're not trying to go viral. You're trying to go the distance. While others burn out seeking moments, you are building momentum. You're no longer saying yes to everyone because you finally understand the weight of your own mission. You're protecting your energy because you've wasted it before. You're keeping your circle tight because you've trusted wrong before. You're thinking long-term now because you've paid the price of short-term pleasure. And as you build quietly, patiently, ruthlessly, you become someone even you barely recognize. You become someone who will one day walk into a room and not need to speak a word, because everything about you will say, "I built this, and no one handed it to me." You're not done, not even close. But you're on the path now, and the silence, it's no longer empty, it's sacred. Number 5, he redefines success. You were taught success is measured by what you have. The car, the condo, the partner, the status, the social circle. For a while, maybe you believed it. You worked harder. You spoke louder. You sought validation in her gaze, in their praise, in metrics you didn't even set for yourself. But somewhere along the line, it stopped making sense. You started winning, but you didn't feel like a winner. You had her, but you lost yourself. You checked the boxes, but none of them felt like home. That's when the shift began. You started asking deeper questions, not "what do I want?" but "what's worth wanting?" You started seeing the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Wealthy in peace, in clarity, in alignment. You saw men with millions who couldn't sleep without pills. Men with fame who feared silence. Men with power who still felt powerless in the presence of their own reflection. You realized success isn't applause. Success is peace. It's waking up without anxiety gripping your lungs. It's walking through life, not wondering who's watching, but knowing you're proud of what they'd see if they were. Success is being able to sit in a room without reaching for your phone, your vice, your distraction, because your inner world is not a place you run from. It's the place you run to. Success is eating what fuels you, not what numbs you. It's spending time with people who sharpen you, not drain you. It's knowing that her love adds, but doesn't define. Her presence enriches, but doesn't complete. Success is being deeply rooted. So no storm, no breakup, no betrayal, no failure can uproot your identity. You become immovable, not because life is easy, but because you've trained for chaos. You've stopped outsourcing worth. You don't need compliments to feel confident. You don't need her desire to feel desirable. You've mastered something most never touch: yourself. The world screams for more, but you now value less. Less noise, less fake urgency, less fake relationships, less comparison. And because you need less, you attract more. More truth, more alignment, more real ones. You don't perform anymore? You just are? And the irony? When you stop trying to be everything, you become the one thing people crave. Real. That is success. Not the suit, not the social media highlight. Real. Not the beautiful woman who chose you, but the man you became while she wasn't there. The discipline you held when no one clapped. The peace you earned while the world called you weird. The principles you protected when everyone else sold theirs. Redefining success means you've finally freed yourself from their matrix. And now you're building a life that doesn't just impress the world, it frees you from it. Number 6, he stays calm in chaos. The world is loud. Everything is urgent. Notifications, news, fear, noise. Everyone's running, reacting, screaming, scrolling, drowning in emotions they've never met face to face. But not you, not anymore. Because you've learned the rarest skill in a world that can't breathe. Calm. Not the fake kind, not the inhale, exhale for Instagram kind. The kind forged in fire, in silence. The calm that comes after betrayal didn't break you. The calm that shows up after the panic attack, when you swore you wouldn't survive. The calm that comes, not from the absence of chaos, but from dominance over it. You've stopped reacting and started responding. You don't shout back at the storm. You let it pass because you are built to weather it. You've trained your nervous system like a soldier trains for war. You no longer collapse at the sight of discomfort. You stand still, you think, you wait. And then, when the moment is right, you strike. Not from emotion, but from strategy. You don't run from confrontation, but you don't chase it either. You don't raise your voice just because someone raised theirs. You don't explain your worth just because someone questions it. You've realized that silence is the loudest answer when you control it. Chaos used to rule you. Now, it obeys your presence. The people around you feel it too. They don't know why they breathe easier when you walk in, but they do. Because calm is contagious, and you're infected. You stopped trying to control outcomes. You started mastering your inputs. Your breath, your words, your posture, your energy. You've become allergic to the things that steal peace. Fake urgency, false drama, manufactured outrage. You no longer get dragged into their chaos because you've created a gravity of your own, one that pulls others up or pushes them away. Either way, you stay grounded. Stoicism isn't just a mindset, it's artillery. It's weaponized composure. You feel everything, but you bow to nothing. You let emotions visit, but not move in. You hear the lies, but you believe only truth. You see the manipulation, but you stay unmoved. Because you've mastered yourself in a world ruled by impulse. And now you are unstoppable. Not because you have no fear, but because fear no longer drives the wheel. You sit in chaos and you breathe. You sit in the storm and you smile. You sit in life's hardest moments and say, I trained for this. That's calm. That's power. That's freedom. You were not meant to be addicted to approval. You were not designed to base your value on her affection. You were born to lead yourself, to walk alone when needed, to build in the silence, to feel pain without folding, to redefine what it means to be whole. She might join you, or she might not. But you are enough, regardless. You are not broken, you are becoming. If this message speaks to you, comment, I walk strong below. Because your silence is not your weakness, it's your weapon. If you felt every word, support this channel by sharing, subscribing, and commenting. You're not just helping us, you're helping others who need this message. Men everywhere are drowning in silence. This voice might be their lifeline, become a part of something bigger.